Going over to the Culture Pride podcast, you have a college to allow students to use their school ID to vote. However, not all students are U.S. citizens, which perhaps that's by design. Who knows? Now this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, exclusive scoop. An email sent to students at UNCG states that they can use student IDs, aka Spartan cards, as voter IDs for upcoming elections. The university confirmed that international non-U.S. citizens are also issued Spartan ID cards. North Carolina voter registration laws do not require proof of citizenship to register. Mentally vacuous. I added that second part. This is ripe for voter fraud in a swing state. Which, yeah, I can't help but think probably. Which, again, the fact that some states don't require voter ID or any ID at all in some cases is, what is it, the epitome of mediocrity? Or just intentional, maliciously intentional. Yeah, so you need an ID for darn near everything, from renting a library book, which, okay, let's be honest, not a lot of people go to the library, but anything from buying cold medicine, alcohol, tobacco, just going to a bar, just getting into some buildings you need one. I mean, just to drive a car, buy a gun. Like, there's so many things that you don't, like, it's almost unfathomable that some places are like, oh yeah, you don't need an ID for that. The most important, sacred thing, and yet, no, anyone can do it. All right, we'll play the video really quick here.
Libs of TikTok has received a concerning email from a source within the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. This email, sent to university students, states that the official student ID, known as a Spartan card, can be used in the upcoming election as a form of voter ID in North Carolina. After confirming with the university's Spartan Card Center that this was indeed true, we also decided to call the admissions office for the University of North Carolina, this time to ask if international, non-U.S. citizen students would also be receiving a Spartan card.
Undergraduate admission, is this help you?
Yeah, hi. This is the admissions office for the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'm just calling because I just have a quick question about the admission process. I have a family member who was looking to come and study there, in the U.S. You accept international students, right?
We do.
Okay, great. Thank you for the information. I was also just curious.
Absolutely.
While I have you on the phone, international students are still eligible for like meal programs and other similar things on the university, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And do you know how that works exactly? Like, I know a lot of schools issue like IDs of some kind as a way of like accessing things. Would he be given one as well if he attended?
Yeah. Right. So yeah, he'll be receiving a student ID card, and whatever he wants to have added onto his account, he'll have a flex card, and he'll utilize his student ID. It will double as a meal card as well.
Got it. Yeah, I saw it on the website. I did see something called a Spartan card. Is that essentially like the student ID for the school?
That's it.
That's it? Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
North Carolina voter registration qualifications state that you must be a U.S. citizen in order to vote. However, citizenship documents are not required in order to register to vote in the state. Additionally, voter registration information required in North Carolina only specifies that you need to check a box confirming that you are a U.S. citizen and meet the age requirements. Students visiting on an F1 visa may also apply for a social security number, and dorms may be used as a residential address when registering. This raises serious questions about the role that state universities have regarding a non-U.S. citizen's ability to vote in our upcoming presidential election by utilizing a university-issued student ID.
Pretty good music, too. That went pretty well. I got 1.3 million views as well as 28,000 likes, which, yeah, that's quite concerning. That being said, it's interesting how we're only finding out about this now, which, and what have Republicans done for the past couple of years? I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking this, but after 2020, don't you think not every penny or every drop of blood or every all of your effort should have been on that necessarily, but yeah, you'd think more people would be looking into these types of things. Now, one of the first comments comes from Chuck Costello. Says, "quote This is why we need to be too big to rig," all caps. They plan to cheat right in front of us. Arizona also saying they'll take 10 to 13 days to tabulate results for the election, getting 705 likes, which, yeah, even third world countries can count their votes faster than Arizona. I mean, we could probably make a whole comical list on things that people can do faster than Arizona can count that. I mean, shoot, you can figure out and submit your taxes to the IRS before Arizona can count all the votes in their state. Yeah, ridiculous. You also have Lita Michelle saying, quote, the law is in all but 5 states allows student IDs to be used for registering and voting. This is a loophole that must be changed. Call your state legislators and tell them to fix it. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen or resident of the state to get an ID, getting 484 likes. Valentina Gomez says, quote, these quote-unquote Republicans had 4 years to make it impossible to cheat in our elections. They're all talk and no action. Okay, 1,000 likes. Well, yeah, there are a lot of rhinos, pejoratively known as Republicans in name only. I mean, something I was gonna say. I'm not sure how durable soapboxes are these days. Probably highly reinforced corrugated cardboard. I'm not sure if you can actually stand on a soapbox these days necessarily, but one of my soapbox issues is the NFA Act of 1934, also known as the National Firearms Act of 1934, in which if you want to buy stuff like short-barreled shotgun, short-barreled rifle, suppressor, machine gun, if your state allows it, you can, but you have to pay a $200 tax stamp to the U.S. Treasury Department, as well as be treated like a criminal with getting a passport photo taken, as well as fingerprints. Long paperwork process that takes between, if you buy as an individual, 2 days, but if you buy in trust, as long as 6 to 9 months. And it's one of those things where totally unconstitutional, it's viscerally disgusting, and it's been around again since 1934. And Republicans have had multiple times where they had the House, the Senate, the White House, and yeah, they say they're pro-gun, and yet they never repealed the NFA Act of 1934. So yeah, let's just say Republicans consistently let me down. And that's one of my, not just pet peeves, but my soapbox issues, where it's like, totally unconstitutional. I wish the Supreme Court should take up those issues. But yeah, you can have your rights, but if you pay a $200 tax stamp from 1934, well, perhaps the one time the government's ridiculous inflation does help people, because $200 in 1934 correlates to about $4,800 in 2024 dollars. So the one-time inflation actually helped us out was NFA Act 1934. So yeah, that'd be nice if Republicans followed through. That's why I'm pretty skeptical about most politicians in general. You also have Liberal ETM says, quote, let me guess, Democrats authorized the no proof of citizenship requirement. This is how we secure and win elections, especially the Statue of Liberty says, quote, every election will be stolen until we fix the problem. Paper ballots, no machines, ID required, signature verification, vote in person, proof of life, signature / ID absentee and mail-in ballot. Got 318 likes. Now, logistically, I don't know how. Let me know in the comments, what would you think would be the most optimal and most secure way to actually run a election? Because again, I mean, I always joke. I mean, well, I work in cybersecurity, is my company that I own, and you can brute force your way into a company like you see in the movies, where you kind of try to break through the firewall or just break into the system. But more often than not, it's the human error. It's the social engineering where you call somebody, you trick them, you get their credentials, and the human error is it's the butt of a lot of jokes in cybersecurity, because that's more often than not, that's where companies trip up. That's how you gain access to things you're not supposed to gain access to. Now I say that because if you had a human counting all those things, humans are invaluable by our very nature. Would that be more accurate than a machine? It would be interesting if we had like a machine that is open source, so that people can actually examine the software, because a lot of people are concerned that some machines don't work. I'm not going to mention any machine names, of course. We never defame the glorious names of those voting machines, of course. But yeah, let me know, what do you think would be the most optimal, secure way for us to run an election? I mean, in our lifetime, I don't think you'll ever be able to do it from your phone. Just the amount of security you need to make that happen, I don't think it's viable, and I don't think the average consumer would trust it, that being the other concern as well. Now, going to the other comments, you also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, this is ridiculous, just another invitation for voter fraud. This needs to be addressed immediately. Where are the lawyers? Getting 647 likes, which, that's a good question. They're probably around there somewhere. Let's see. Old School Eddie says, quote, Democrats refuse to secure our elections for one reason. They plan to cheat. This is the only reason for not wanting to secure elections. They can't run from that, getting 106 likes. Which, this is kind of funny. It's like a political thing. Like, 20, 30 years ago, I would think it's interesting. It's a controversial thing in the United States. And it's an issue where, voting and IDs, you can't ask someone for that. That's ridiculous. That's burdensome, which, again, you need an ID for damn near everything these days. You did not require one for one of the most important sacred things of our country. To me, it's just ridiculous. It shouldn't be controversial. That's why I do kind of suspect that people who don't want voter ID just want to be able to cheat. Let me know in the comments if you think of a legitimate reason why you shouldn't need to show an ID for the most sacred act. Let me know in the comments. Do a couple more here. I'm not seeing any contrarian statements thus far. Rebecca Collins, pronouns is the real one, says the cheating is right in front of our faces. It's a little, I don't know what you call it. It's not a GIF or a meme, but it's just a picture where it's just a colored background with text in front of it. It says, quote, the fact that Democrats won't pass a voter ID bill tells you they want to cheat in elections, getting 569 likes. So, I'm not sure. Maybe again with the time frame to go, with the time frame, the election being right around the corner, I don't suspect it's going to be fixed anytime soon. In terms of college campuses being more laid back and the culture of college campuses, on average, being more Democrat leaning. I mean, shoot, I went to college in the Midwest, and even there is much more left leaning in general. But that's why I suspect I don't think there will be any real reform for on a collegiate level. But let me know what your thoughts are, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Even if it takes me a day or two to get back to you, I appreciate your patience. I try to get back to all the responses in a timely manner, even though I juggle a couple balls with a couple of companies I run. Now, appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.